Alright, so this is Jared Genesis 2 for the last time, and only for the last time. Um, we're going to have the last few videos up here, and then we're going to take them down because, and then close the channel for good. The reason I had decided that, you know, to continue this would actually, was the mission's already fulfilled. Now it's to the other channel, Operation Jared, which is changed to a different name due to privacy reasons and the fact that I want it set where I want these very assessed people to find out for themselves. Because if they were that aggressive to come to my channel the first time and gain about 12 subscribers, these are the same aggressive people that will do it again. And then I ignited the fuel with the fire with that one video I did a few days ago for the record that Liberal Decay has. One thing I noticed from even within a year, is that whenever Liberal Decay gets something of me, it's nothing but the exact same creation I make. But he changes the title of it instead of from the original to something else. So he makes a commentary through the titles that were changed from the original context. So it doesn't really I try to figure out what does that really mean, but sometimes you just like I had other people who would do video responses. They would put stuff, and when they take videos, they put the same titles on, keep the same everything. I had people who even critique videos or just make a parody, where it's a gesture kind of behavior. Now it's like this, whole new world. And I had comments from some people, yada yada yada. It is a really a crazy world. Now to think that this is now this channel reflects Piss 4400. It also reflects the Gorgeous George Project channel. It reflects all these things, and even the Jared Genesis channel that I have, it reflects all those, because all that I've learned so far is what is against me. That's what I wanted to know, and I got that what I wanted. And it's sad when you find people, um, they take one little thing and they make it more than what it is. All you have to do is not much. You can do a little something here or there. You can be as pathetic as a 6-year-old saying the wrong stuff. And one of my studies, just to see if these kind of trolls will get aroused by that kind of attention, seem to work to my advantage. And so it's an advantage of me knowing what I'm going to deal with, as opposed to a demo of it, which, number one, it really doesn't feel like a demo. Feel like it's a real thing, but the actual real thing hasn't even been done yet. As far as the Jared Genesis project, the real thing hasn't even been done yet. It's just this channel has been a warm up the whole time. One video I have is my Super Famicom. The other one would be the last news update for this channel. It will be, and then this video here, obviously, this is to explain that this channel was just temporarily. It was designed to help me get vigilant of what I have to deal with in the future on my main channel once I come active on it. I already made videos under it, but it's more so now that I do what I do now. And yeah, like I said in my main headquarters, Piss 4400, I tend to take a vacation, yes. this was just something that I wanted to get myself ready for when I come back on this Jared Genesis thing. And the other thing, I think I mentioned in the first update that the one video that update that I've had is about a week old, but it has to do with the character, one character that comes to my channel, and I extend an offer to this character, um, and was telling him some stuff as well. Um, and really, when I conveyed what I wanted to say to this character, I really conveyed it to everyone, because if I did one of them, I did them all. The old saying goes is that if you kill one cop, that means you killed them all, because they all get offended over a person killing a cop, whether if that cop did something out of hand in a negative way or not. You know, whether if you are defending yourself or not, these people stick together with their own. That's what my point is. And so, if at best to describe it, it's just the TGDMFT of it, and the people just they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Now, the one thing I did specify in that one video I created, which was a good acting job I done with a mixture of some things real and some things wasn't, mostly just examples of things that happened to me. But as far as the aftermaths of what I would do, no, that was just, in fact, you know what? Um, a lot of arguments have passed by to where one person by the name of Daddy YouTube said, well, what is, there's movies, there's games, there's places that reference the same stuff that I do, and that doesn't make people do it. When people do stuff, that's their own decision. You can't just blame a television show for something. God knows that if something is not made for children, you set it where that those particular age groups, like 6, 7 year olds, are not going to watch those programs. For an example, um, and then you always have to give disclaimers just to protect your butt, because people will take a spin and they'll turn it into something. That's why I did what I did, because the first thing I wanted to do was to get these people riled up in a way that they would think. Um, well, not think, because they know that they know better about me from all this time. They know me, not know me personally, but just how I perform for things of an attention seeker, sort of. And I guess when I did that episode, I was sort of an attention seeker, seeking attention, because I wanted to see the people like that dog lover woman and that other person was gagging in that swallowed camel. And I said, you know what? If you could believe an unknown person you knew nothing about that lives in Illinois, you believe anything. And so I had this idea of putting up this rape thing, and I said she fell for it, just like these other fuckers fell for it. And then that was the first. That was one of the reasons. The other reasons, the main reason, was because Jarrett will always be picked at by the stuff he would be saying in the past, like that one video they keep bringing up about this Boogie 2988, and how if he dies, that he Jarrett was gonna fuck his wife and is gonna rape the shit out of her, and that was not more of just a joke, a stupid, maybe a little bit of a crude / sick joke, but it was more or less being stupid and playing around. I wouldn't call it a joke. It's just more like playing stupid, as opposed as terms of not being serious. And people can say what they want about how many proofs that Jared made death threats and stuff. A lot of people on YouTube say the things they say because they get provoked by people. Now, does it mean that they're going to do that to you in real life? No. They can't find nothing else to say as far as vocabulary, as far as speaking up and having the last word. So they'll say something that's a little offensive, hoping that it will just get rid of the rest of the crap once and for all kind of behavior. And I identified with that because I used to be like that on forums, internet video game forums, things that had to do with the stuff I'm into that people mistreated me on. And a lot of it, a lot of the things that I've noticed too, people who talk about me as far as things that I agree with them on as far as my writing, and whenever I explain to them these things and ask them questions about it, they don't want to take the time to help a person, but yet they take the time to criticize rather than helping. So, at least for myself, I can say that I did this one video I did on my main headquarters a little while ago, showing Jared how to do OBS live stream. Other than just sitting on my ass and say, "Hey man, you need to stop putting the camera over the fucking screen," and looks just doesn't it just doesn't it's just not professional. It's crappy. Instead of me saying that, how about I do something about it, showing the person. You see, you people can't do that, and I say you people, I'm talking about anybody that has a different mindset other than myself, if at best describe them. There was one person in particular that said I wanted to stop what they're doing. I'm not going to name this person because I don't even know this person enough for them to even say that, and for them to say that they don't know me enough. I'm not here to stop nobody. I'm just doing what I'm doing to try to help a person. You see, there is a such thing as people like yourselves doing the same stuff that y'all been doing. The difference is that person that you're picking at could progress and get more progress and improve in a positive way, not by y'all, but by something that's going to help him, or by something that they choose for help for themselves. If at best describe this method, I'm one of the products of y'all environmental thing. And yes, it has. Some people say it's a Jared Genesis thing. Some people say it's a Gorgeous George thing. I looked at it as every three-side thing. Myself, Gorgeous George, and Jared Genesis, and many other locales on YouTube, if at best. And that's the way it boils down to. I don't. I never even heard of such nonsense, um, of this uh, of this so-called brigade, and not interested in stopping them. I'm more interested in helping Jared doing videos towards that to change things, and rather than sitting here, the only reason why I had an interest in the people that I've had interest to was to get them round up, because I know they're not going to like what I'm going to be doing. They hate it. They hate it. Their definition of helping Jared is to call them names, to talk about facts, but not talk about a solution. And even if you, let me just tell you something, even if you talk about a solution, sometimes a person may not even be able to do it. Sometimes you have to go out of your way to waste your time and your life to try to do a video dedicated to this person, or any person, or certain people, or whatever you want to look at it as, just to do it. Most of y'all that be doing videos about Jared, and I'm not doing this to make myself look good because I don't fuck what I look like. I don't care. I never did care. If I cared, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. You see, there's a difference in performance. And what I'm saying is that um, if you people wanted to help Jared, you would do the things um, that would be a little more constructive. And all I hear is people critiquing, which like one character on YouTube, another character by the name of Game Nightbreed Gaming, was one critique video I watched that I spent an hour watching, and I actually watched it about 3 times, and I actually enjoyed it because I thought it was fair to the point. However, um, it's like I question the antics or the ethics of the reasoning, and that's just me. I question the ethics because here's the thing: um, to really help somebody, sometimes you got to even go against your own friends. To be and make a difference, to be a revolutionary, sometimes you got to go against your own so-called friends. Now, people on the internet, I don't consider friends because to have a friend, you got to know a person. Sometimes even if you meet a person in person, you may not even know them really well. Still, it could be as simple as meeting them in a place. To really put it bluntly, the internet is not. You can't really sense who or what kind of people you're dealing with behind a computer screen. You can uh, do better sensing them outside the internet as far as what they look like, as far as what they appear, their demeanor, their attitude, their facial expressions, that you can tell whether if they're for you or against you kind of the mentality. Then, as opposed to the internet, where you don't know, and you just have to say, oh, and I actually had people that told me that I had friends. I said, there was a comment that Nam made. He said, you always turn your friends off. I said, what friends? I tells him. I said, who the world told you that I had friends? I never had no friends. I don't know who told you that I had friends, but they're lying. I never even had friends in my whole life. And if he's referring to 3 years ago when the Gorgeous George people came to me, those were not friends. Those were people that were just after me for just a show regarding Gorgeous George. And I guess a part of it was myself in some ways. That's it. To really be a friend with somebody, sometimes you look at the character of the person, not by what they do or the color of their skin, but the character, the performance of the character, everything. And so that's not by watching a person's channel because you talk about somebody in Richmond, Virginia, or to watch a person's channel and befriend them and make allies because you are from Texas and talk about another person from Texas that is not fortunate as you are. What if it's a male or a female individual? That's pretty pathetic as far as your way of making friends. And as Jared said in that one video when he described how people like Dog Lover do and others, which is the truth. Now these people say that Jared and we speak the truth and Jared doesn't like it. I'm speaking the very truth that you people will probably speak. I'm not attacking, I'm being neutral and speaking the truth and only the truth. And to be honest, you can think whatever you want. I speak the TGDMT, the TGDMFT, and the TGDT, if at best describe myself. And that's the weird part. It's like this, who are you to say? Some of you that watch this channel, who are you to say that you are people that speak the truth, but yet when the truth gets told to you, you want to take and put a spin and say, "Oh, you attacked my friend, you attacked me." Well, calling someone ugly is not an attack; it's a fact. I was called ugly many times by people, and I accept it because really I didn't care. That's the way my face was. I couldn't do nothing about it. I'm not God or nothing. What may be ugly to most people may not be ugly for some, and that's with everybody. And the fact that it was someone put a twist and a spin on it was ridiculous. I preferred her as ugly as far as her acting and the way she's acting. I also said too for the record, if it's true that Jarrett was trying to get somebody for sex, which to be honest, if I was lonely, I'd do the same thing too. But since I got the sense that I've got from all these experiences I've had in my life, you know, I guess morals and principles tells me not to do that, and it's not religious. Trust me, it's just my own sense of my being, if at best, and only if at best. But to be honest with you, if I was Jared, I would say, wait a minute, this girl doesn't want to be bothered with me. There's other people that look a little better than her. I think I'll try to get after them and do the same thing as I try to do with her. That was really what I meant. It had nothing to do with personally insulting no one, but yet these people still take and they put a spin on it and a twist. And no matter what I say, they're gonna always have that unadulterated stuff. In fact, what's interesting, some of these people don't even watch the whole video. They don't even study what they hear me saying. All the thing they be studying is the first things they hear in 5 or 10 minute period. I said, you call that studying? That's not studying. That's in studying. I did better with George, and the reason why I knew about George was because I took the time watching all of his videos. I watched hours and hours of videos. I didn't watch them all at one night, but I'd gone to sleep with some of them on. I had watched them. There were some I couldn't watch that were boring that I knew was going to be about, you know, just most of the ones that are boring had to do with people dressing up as stupid masks, mask characters from Party City or something. Stuff that you can't really find any dialogue or no kind of acting skills whatsoever, lacking performance. Now, I want to get to this one character that I've had a pleasure with because he's been involved in this mini channel for a little bit of about 20 days now. And this man, Liberal Decay, I had said something about him the first time I saw him. First thing, I noticed that he enjoys tormenting people. He enjoys being crude and tormenting other people his own over their own expense, and the fortunate versus the misfortunate kind of mentality. One of the things I picked up of Christian Thurston is that he decides he tried everything he could at some point to try to make me miserable, and it didn't work. And I said, "Why is this man trying to make me miserable?" And literally, he knows. He obviously knows. And what's odd about it is that I had nothing against him. But then I said something about him. I said, you know what, this guy, I think a part of him been through some stuff. I could be wrong about that, but I think I could be right. But I say I could be wrong too, because I don't know him enough. But I do get the feeling that when people do stuff online, part of it has to do with things that they've been through in reality. Sometimes they don't have to been through nothing. But I think some people are emotional without going out loud, and sometimes you don't even know these people, even the ones that have been friends with these folks like Thurston for a long time, or any person like that, may not even know. I don't know. I don't know. I do get sometimes when he does his video responses to me, and I took snapshots of it in text. And sometimes I just get that feel anyway that I think he gets a little bit bitter at things. Like he's sort of the serious kind of person, but a little bitter. And I think when he trolls some people, he gets a little bit bitter um, on some certain things. Like if it's something that's not going his way, he gets a little bitter, but he's not going to show it. That's kind of my assumption of it. I could be wrong. Um, a lot of times, they're people who just had been through different personality performances, different clicks, where they figure they'll see someone else that reflects them, and so they'll try to make laughs out of them over their expense to make free entertainment instead of trying to, you know, do whatever. Honestly, I would say that I don't really, to be honest, it's like what Jared said was amazing because parts I think some of these people um, are miserable. You know, sometimes they don't want to face the 9 to 5 kind of scenario. He was telling me that. Well, here's the thing. Like he was talking about that one premise where one of the characters had emotional problems. The female one, And I'm thinking about this, and I said, well, she did express some issues she had. She had depression. She described losing her job at some time before she had her new job and things straightened out. She expressed the frustration in fitting in the area that she moved in, where there's no family nearby. It's just her and her husband. And she also expressed the reason that she got into this Jarrett thing, and that how this whole Jarrett and her met together because she was lonely and vulnerable, and Jarrett, which she thought was a true friend, and when she found out the truth about Jarrett and what he was after, it offended her. Which that's with any woman. I mean, if you're going after somebody just for sex and not really going after their character, don't even care much of what they say, what they believe. It's sort of like how the Gorgeous George people were doing to me, only we weren't talking about sex or nothing. But that's just sort of the same kind of way, you know what I mean? Uh, Articulately speaking, that offends anybody. You know, and the fact that I have to say this out of my own opinion, this is not going against Jared, but this is just an opinion, or actually, it's a fact rather than an opinion. To tell somebody and try to persuade them to have sex with you, knowing that they already engaged and with somebody, you're committing adultery. You're actually are that's actually, and then offer to I don't know, I don't know if it's true, but if it's true that Jared says you don't have to tell your fiance what we did, and I'm not sure, but I think Jared tried to offer her something that's wrong and completely, particularly because you don't do that to people. If someone's not interested in you, or actually, let me just put it this way: if someone has somebody, you don't make them have sex with you. You just don't. You don't even and just on top of that, it's kind of crazy. So I find that I like to, it's easy for me to think about this, and I say, that he was wrong when he did that, but at the same time, I'm sure it. I'm not sure if it's true, but if it is true, you're wrong. Simple as that. That's just, in my point of view. That's I disagree with Jared with that because I think that was disrespectful, and that was just treating some. It's just like telling someone that you're a slut and that's all you're worth in life is your body, which that's not how it works in reality. If at best, it never really worked in the ways of social interaction. It never really worked in any kind of form, whether if it's sex or not. How the fuck would it work on that? I always believed in never cheating in a race because it's better to win the trophy by the true way because you feel that spirit of the true way when you actually win something and achieve it without cheating rather than doing something and purposely doing it and cheating your way out of how the system works as far as winning a race. So what I say, I'll give you my personal preference right now. If I ever had sex with a woman, I would never tell anybody online. If I ever had sex with a woman, to be honest, it would never even be compared to what Jared did or allegedly do as far as making unmarried people sleep with you or making what I may have my words making married people sleep with you and stuff. I used to have the same mentality as Mr. A Gig. I used to see a girl and just ask her out for a date. And this was just to study social interaction. This was in person. And it would never work out because all of them say they had someone. And I always think that I wanted these people to say they have someone and then they're full of shit. There were a few people that say that they were just not interested. And
that didn't let me know if they had someone, but they were just not interested. But the thing is that to offer something to get someone to come over to your house and have sex with them, if that's true, um, I think it's sort of pathetic. I think it's very pathetic. But I understand Jared's point of view in one sense because when you're lonely and don't have nobody, you're going to want something, I guess, in placement of your loneliness because your life has been so fucked up in a way that it is not going to be like the people that you're seeing around you. No matter how many times you go and do something about it, the roughest thing is how the system works and how it kind of oppresses you from aggressing in the true way and progressing in a true way on how to get over these long life problems of social interaction and meeting people. And so, honestly, if I didn't go through the shit that I've been through and learn the lessons that I've learned, I would be like the same ignorant people that are listening to this video, probably gonna copy what I'm saying and putting on this A Gig or A Cuck channel, that one channel that was by Thurston, if at best to describe it. And so what's interesting is that all I had to do, and one thing I can tell you this, like, me and Jared don't think alike, but I could say this, I could look at people like Miss Johnson or Miss Kate or something, and I could just say, you know what, you're not my type. And a lot of it has to do with character too, because character plays a lot in performance, and sometimes it doesn't have to be in a negative way. It could be in a way that's just not negative, but just as far as some people don't. Some people like chocolate. Some people like vanilla. Some people like dark colors. Some people don't like dark colors. It's sort of, you can think of it in that sense because that's really how it is in a true way. Um, what might not be your type or might not be as attractive to you might be attractive and as attractive to some other people in a very many of the same numbers. It's a hand in hand, equal to equal numbers. Some people like men with hairy chests. Some people hate men that don't have barely nothing on them, and some people don't like muscular men. Some people don't like skinny men. Some people even like fat people. It's a mixture of things. Someone may say a skinny person is uglier than a fat person. Someone may say that a muscular person is just kind of buffy and puffy in an ugly way than a person that's not muscular. You get it? You see, it's a preference, if at best. So when I say, if I was Jared Genesis speaking for myself, I say that this uh, dog lover, I would have had more choices than that if I were going to get someone to sleep with me. That's what I mean. But it wouldn't be nowhere near. And this is just a parody of what I would do if I was Jared. But as far as trying to get someone over my house 4 hours away from me and get them to have sex with me and then paying them or even offering them something to get them to come over to my place and have sex with me, so and then tell them and pay them some money in a way that they're not going to tell their fiance or their fiance won't find out or something. I think that's pretty pathetic. There are people that do have these kind of unfortunate bouts where uh, people cheat on with other people and they do things, and that's how marriages get destroyed. There's preachers, there's pastors that be sleeping with people in the church, and sometimes they do it for as simple as, you come over my house, and they do the same invitation as some people would do. You come over my house, you have sex with me, don't tell your husband that we had sex. I'll pay you, and that's it. And then when they find out, the other person, it's like very devastating. So I mean, I can understand why Jared would act that way, but do I condone it? No. It's not. If you really were friends with that person, you wouldn't be, you know, um, thinking about a body. You know what I mean? Because there's more to a person than just their physique or their body. There's more to a person than their body. You know, I, it's some of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. As far as women are the worst kind of women I don't want to ever see or deal with. Sometimes some of them were attractive. Some of them look like they could have nice breasts. Some of them look like they could have nice bottom sides and tops and stuff. But it's like because of the way they act and how they treat you, you don't want to be nowhere near them because would you rather be miserable in a sense of lusting over someone's body and then be okay, let me rephrase it. Would you rather be miserable in the way that you be happy by lusting over someone's body and then wake up in hell dealing with that person's personality, their being, their attitude? Would you rather be miserable like that, or would you rather be happy where that you get two of the features? One is the body, the other one is the personality, the character, the person, and the being, and the safe, secure mind based on common sense and performance. Because that's what I would pick, you know, because you cannot, ladies and gentlemen, establish um, and you know what? And even if this Shanice would have took Jared's offer, Jared would still be lonely because really a one night stand is nothing more but just what it is, a one time thing. And then everybody goes back to their business and it's like, okay, you know, like nothing happened and no one gives a fuck. Not even the people in parties that were involved. That's how it works. And what's odd is that, you know, I used to think the same similar way as Jared too, but I have never really said it out loud to nobody or say nothing to nobody, saying, "Hey, want to have sex? You don't have to let your husband know or your fiance know," kind of mentality. Um, that brings me to another subject. It's just like a lot of people don't see Jared at the level that is the same understanding that I'm used to based on my issues, and that other people just need to understand that some people have a different mindset in a way that they have a problem. And it's not the same mindset as you or I look at, but it's a different and based on a mental problem. Now, some people would assume that a person looks normal, they seem normal, they act normal, that they, when they do some of the weirdest things, people expect what the hell's wrong with you without actually understanding the actual person, such as Jared or myself. And so when they understand it, then they kind of identify the in or out of the mind, meaning that they have a little patience and tolerance over that person based on their performance. I've seen many of y'all do the worst kind of things to Jared in such a way that you don't have that understanding. I do, because otherwise I would have been just like y'all, and I would have probably done stuff with this man too. The reason I had the desire to not want Jared to get mad at me no more was because I, I, what's the point? I mean, it's dumb. That's one. Two, why get mad at someone that reminds you of yourself? Because that'd be like looking at myself in the mirror and say, I hate myself. So rather than just getting mad over the way someone treated me. For a person that identifies with the same issue, we live with our parents. I live with my mother. He lives with his parents, and I've never met my father, unlike Jared. How about that we go together, or at least be united in the sense that help someone based on your experience, but help someone in a way that you can be a revolutionary. And I think that's revolutionary, is doing what I'm doing, putting myself out there, doing what Jarrett would do, and then using a little bit of myself at the same time in the mix. When I did this channel, it helped me tremendously with discipline, but it was frustrating with the pressure of comments I was getting from people and some of the things they would say to me and about me, the frustrations. Um, I would never share them out loud, but I would try to compose myself as a person that didn't get bothered by these things, but they do bother me. And then my mom, if my mom would hear about them, she would be bothered by them too, because she doesn't like to see me get hurt. Which the kind of hurt I feel is just more like, fuck this. Why? Why people are thinking like this? But it don't hurt me in a way that I go to sleep and it bothers me. It just hurts me in a way that I think that people should have a little bit of patience, because I could have been just like y'all in a way that it'd be exactly the same scenario, and I have no doubt. Um, I have no fucking doubt if at best to describe myself. And the new channel name I came up for the Jarrett Genesis thing is actually a good one to me. I think it's a good one. I'm not sure about the people that watches this channel. And I had got an inspiration from a character that visited me not long ago. And I had an inspiration from something that I came up with based on another character. And I said, you know what? That's a good idea. Because remember the time that I did that live stream not long ago and I accidentally leaked out Operation Jared because it was in the same browser and the same, that account was in the same email address, GeneGlory at gmail.com account, that Gene Glory account that I have. I know some of y'all looked at the email address that's based on, was based on Piss 4400 and is based on this channel, GeneGlory at gmail.com. And so it's, again, it's so much. I learned a lesson is that if I'm going to separate a channel from something, you have to make a separate Gmail account. The reason I didn't want to do it because you have all these phone numbers. The change number on this prepaid phone is a pain in the fucking ass because sometimes you do everything right, the phone doesn't respond to the changes right away. It took me a night to the morning to get this phone to respond. Had to put this phone away when it was not changing the number. Had to, it was a lot of trouble. And it costs money to buy calling cards because it's like $15 a pop or $10 a pop and that's just to be able to use the phone whenever I make YouTube accounts or change numbers whenever I have to make YouTube accounts or something like that. It really is pathetic. And I say this before and I say this again. Some people think that because I mentioned about someone that had false flagged my videos purposely and would put them under inappropriate content when nothing really inappropriate as far as content was on except the black screen as you're seeing and my voice in the back of the black. And that's it. That one episode, Man Intercourse 33, I don't know what was up with that one person and this other thing, but it was ridiculous. And I did not want to do nothing. I really didn't. I actually felt bad, to be honest, when I did what I did. And I talked about this briefly extensively on my other channel because I really did feel bad. I asked God, I said, I don't want to call, I don't want to do nothing else other than what I've been doing. But I realized that my common sense, if I would have kept on letting this man do what he was doing to me, though I didn't want to hurt him, he would hurt me because he's taking away what I'm trying to do that's positive to help myself and and helping Jared Genesis in the sense of the true way this channel. So I felt bad about it. I really didn't feel like it. I really didn't want to do that. Any most people that know me and really know me, and I speak as the ones that know me, they know that if any time I do something different other than what I've been doing, there had to be something very wrong or there's something that went out of hand. Because any other time you would never find me. Because I dealt with all kinds of people for many years. I dealt with people that have said names to me. I dealt with people that spammed me. I dealt with people that did all kind of stuff, and it never bothered me where I would want to do something outside because the reason is because it's nothing. It's bullshit. There are people like Gorgeous George, however, that will do something over you comparing yourself and destroying yourself over him, and that's amazing. I said, I'm doing this over my own expense, and there are people laughing at me, and you're getting mad, getting a $500 picture of another loser and taking it and putting it on the internet. And it really didn't bother me because by this man-to-man intercourse thing I was doing, I told this person, I said, man-to-man intercourse is a metaphor term that's used for me, my homemade metaphor, uh, used to compare one loser to another loser as far as their character and what kind of human beings they are as far as their true way. And that's all it was. It had no sexual, no sex, no gay mess, no homosexuality. It was more like talking about someone and bashing, talking about yourself at the same time. But just with a compass, I would do is that I would talk about myself, and then when something comes to my mind as to what George does that reflects me, and it wasn't even that hard. I didn't have to think hard as I did with this other video with rape. That video, like unlike the rape video, this video with Man to Man, of course, was real in terms of how I felt about myself and George as far as comparing myself to George. Even Captain Corpulent said this much, that George Garrett, Pittsburgh Hunter, focused more on himself at best than Gorgeous George, even though he was talking about George. And that there was no reason for George to really do nothing because it was more about me than it is for him, which it was. And I don't know why, but with that man to man intercourse stuff I did, it helped me become stronger when George had a picture of what I looked like because I don't think I would be able to take it. I'm serious. I don't know how the fuck I had got the strength to take it, but I think it was because of my aunt being dead and a mixture of that and that man to man intercourse stuff I created out of on my own with my Crayola and scribble scrabble crap and my artistic whatever craftsmanship. It helped me build a little bit of a backbone to the kinds of stuff and abuse that I deal with online as far as being scrutinized by people, humiliated by people, different stuff like that. So it is a lot of work, but it was worth it. It helped me more because if I didn't do the man, of course, I think George's plan would have worked as far as what I look like. But as far as being concerned with people knowing what I look like, it doesn't bother me as bad because it's like it's in a subtle, kind of a slow paced way. Think of it as a medicine you take for anxiety or hyperactivity, and that instead of you being all hyper or a bit out of shape like anxiety, your medicine kind of slows down the pace in the normal, so alter the normal way that you would react on stuff or how you would feel on stuff, and it kind of in a slow way And as you know, your activity gets slower, you become relaxer. And as you become relaxer, it's like turning from 60 to 50 hertz, slowing the frequency down, uh, well, slowing the music down, of course. And so that's just kind of how I seen it myself. And had it been for that therapy, I would never probably got over that. People ask me, does it bother you that George know what you look like and that people on the internet know? Does it bother you? I said in one way it does, but after some things I've been through, it doesn't bother me. I kind of surpassed it. And I even shocked myself because I said a few years ago, I would have probably freaked out and said, how the fuck did this man get what I look like? But it didn't. It didn't. It didn't phase me. It just it disturbed me, but not in the way I would lose sleep. If I wasn't as strong as I am now, I probably would lose sleep. I probably would have had an ego that's similar to this one, which is still the same, but it being the way that it been taken away. I've probably been more less doing videos than I am doing than what I'm doing now. And it's really thanks to my aunt being dead, Gorgeous George, and the way that my Gorgeous George project channel, the way that I compare myself to him. And I don't know why, but it just helped me. I can't explain it really too much further because I think if I do, it wouldn't make any sense. All right, folks, this is Jarrett Genesis here, signing out.